Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If you could like and subscribe. This video is all about Mighty Hoops and what you get when you order them. So I'm going to show you kind of what it looks like. I've already opened the box because I was really excited, but I'll show you what the Mighty Hoops look like, how to hoop, why you would want these versus not getting them, and kind of what all the reasoning behind getting them is, because I know they can be an expense and sometimes it's hard to justify getting the expense for the awesome thing that could save you a little bit of time. So please stay tuned for the rest of the video and I'll show you exactly what you get when you open the box from Mighty Hoop. So I actually ordered 2 Mighty Hoops, so it came in this box, and you can see I've already put in these side metal pieces that actually allows it to hoop into my machine. I have a Brother Entrepreneur 10 needle, which is the PR 1055X, I'm pretty sure. If you want to know what machine I have, check the link below. I did buy it from a local registered dealer in Virginia. That was super awesome. I got 2 different sizes. I got the 9x6, and this did come fully unassembled. I do want to be specific about that. And then I also got the stabilizer hooping situation. I don't know what it's actually called. But I got that one as well as what's great about these is that they say what they are on them. And I got the 8x9 Mighty Hoop. So these are 2 different sizes that I will use a lot. The 8x9 is great for shirts, and especially in smaller sizes. Now, if you do have a design that's a little bit bigger, maybe for an adult shirt or a denim shirt, you would want one of the bigger hoops, and they do sell crazy amounts of different hoops. And I purchased the 9x6 on a recommendation from the actual seller for onesies. They said that this size works the best. So I'm going to try this out, and I'm actually going to show you how it hoops on so you can, be aware of that. So the hoops came as well as these pieces. What's great about these Mighty Hoops and what I really like is that they came with instructions. And these instructions can be a little daunting, so please don't freak out when you see them. I would say that the pictures aren't labeled as well as I think they should, but obviously that can be fixed, but the information is good. It tells you how to add these mounting brackets because they obviously don't come attached. The big thing when you're looking at it, and I'm going to pry these 2 pieces apart from the correct side, is that depending on which Mighty Hoop you have, the bolts, what side the locking nuts are on, are different. And they are different for the 2 that I got. So that's why the instructions are super helpful, because they literally tell you, don't put it on that way or put it on that way. And that's helpful. They also tell you which way they should go in the machine, which I appreciate, being that I am new to these Mighty Hoops. So they come with instructions. One is for the 8x9, the other one is for the 9x5. So that's really great. And these work on both the Brother and the Baby Lock, 1, 6, and 10 needle machines. The website does tell you, based off of your machine, whether or not you can use these Mighty Hoops. Now, the people that work there are great. So if you have an issue, please call them, because they can explain to you if these Mighty Hoops work with your machine, and they can tell you, what people have used which one in the past and what will work best for you, especially because these cost, these can cost $150 a piece, and so you want to make sure that you're getting exactly what you need, especially for that. The 8x9 is $150, and the 9x6 is $145. The smaller ones are cheaper, obviously, because less magnets. They do come with instructions on how to hoop and how to insert. And these are very useful. Safety warnings are important. And then it's called a backing holder. So I got these backing, I'm going to show you them, these backing holders. Why? Because they sell stations, actual stations that you can buy to Mighty Hoop and set it all in, and that's all great, but they can be quite expensive. So what I have seen people do previously is just buy the backing holder, which holds your stabilizer in place and then allows you to hoop relatively easily. So we are going to do that. All of the attachments came in bags, so that made it easier. Something that they don't tell you is that you are going to need tools in order to put these together. So what you can use is, if you don't have a nut driver, is a C-wrench or any type of pliers works really well. The other end is a Phillips screwdriver. Most people have that. So be aware when you buy them that it might require some assembly. I did want to show you views of the instructions. The big thing is that what they tell you is that for the 9x6, these screws are inserted through the top, and you can see the locking nuts on the back, which is different than the 8x9. The locking nuts are on the top and the flathead stove screws are on the back. So just so you're aware. Now begins the process of how to use your Mighty Hoop. For my smaller hoop, I'm going to show you the process of hooping something flat, such as a piece of sample fabric, and then a onesie. First, I use the backing frame to clamp the medium's cutaway stabilizer on the back of the hoop. Then I'm going to lay my piece of fabric onto the frame. It doesn't have to be perfect. Right now we're just laying it on. This would be for a sample, or if you're doing something that just has one sheet of fabric. Then I'm going to snap my top of the hoop to it, making sure that you can read that warning label on the top of the frame. The last step is to flatten your fabric by pulling evenly on each side, and you want your fabric to be tight. You also want to make sure that you take that backing frame that you used off before you embroider. Now to hoop a onesie. So it starts off with the same first steps. We're going to make sure that that cutaway stabilizer is placed on the back of the hoop. Then you're going to get your onesie. Now, since onesies and shirts all have backs to them, you want to make sure that you're inserting your hoop inside of the shirt or onesie and making sure that it is center. The way that a lot of people do this is either they iron the onesie or shirt to make sure that the center seam is going down. Some people just eyeball it. It's really up to preference and what you prefer. So just making sure that the onesie looks straight, is roughly center, and then I'm going to grab the top of my hoop and snap it, and then we're good to go. I try with all my onesies to make sure that the hoop portion is at the tippity top so that my design can be exactly where it needs to be on that onesie. Take that backing off and you're ready to go. All right, so I wanted to show you what it kind of looked like not on the machine because I have another arm set up on my machine right now. But literally it's the same thing that you would do with all of your other pieces. Slide these guys under, and there's a first slot and a second slot, and that's just based off of spacing between here and here. So you can go all the way. Just make sure that depending on what you're doing, that you are being aware of how your machine is working and that it is actually getting out your design. Make sure that you do an awesome sweep around. But the big thing is don't forget to take your baby onesie and put it under the actual bobbin arm of your machine, or else you'll stitch through both sides and then you won't have a good beanie, or you won't have a good onesie. Another tip, when you are inserting into your machine, make sure that you can read this warning symbol and that you take off the backing hoop that you use with your stabilizer before you embroider, or else it's gonna hurt. So just be aware of that. You want to take care of your machine, but you also want a cool hooping situation. Now to use the larger hoop. So it has the very same steps that I follow for the smaller hoop. We're going to make sure that that cutaway stabilizer is good to go and ready and taut against the back. Sometimes it can be tricky because you feel like you don't have a lot of fingers, but you'll get the hang of it. Then insert the frame into the shirt, whatever shirt you are using. Again, a lot of people, what they will do is iron the shirt down the middle so you have a line, just to ensure that your Mighty Hoop is exactly on that center. And I do recommend that when I do this. Normally I iron down the center. I do that on every hoop that I use. So nicely insert it into the shirt, make sure it is placed exactly where you want it to. A lot of people say there are a lot of measurements out there that show you exactly where your design should be for children's clothes. And then you're gonna make sure that your shirt is good to go, that it is on the side that you want. Obviously the backing came off as I was putting this together, so I had to quickly put it back down. And then we go on to actually laying down that first thing. So very similar to doing a one seam, just a little bit larger. Keep practicing and you'll get better at it. Right. And it does take some getting used to like really put the shirt in the place that you want, but I always pull the sides to make sure we've got enough space and that it is tight and good to go. So now the way I would insert this on my machine is actually just slide it in, making sure that there's enough space for the arm to go down. And this works very much the same way. Oh, I'm upside down. So technically I would have to, I put this upside down, no! So this is how you would do it the wrong way. So I actually put this in upside down. So in order to, I'm just gonna fix this real quick. All right side. Okay, so first off, you want to try and make sure that the center of your shirt is in the center right here. You want to make sure that you can read the warning label and that your shirt is tight. Getting this exact is a little tricky. You would insert to the machine right here, making sure that there's space and making sure that your shirt is nice and tight. So I always pull at the sides to make sure that when I do drum on it, that it does sound nice. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about these Mighty Hoops. A couple of tips before we go. So tip number one, if you are using these hoops, make sure to take them off before you start embroidering. Another tip is definitely always go around your machine or go around your design on your hoop to make sure that your needle isn't going to hit or not break, but gonna break on your actual frame. So make sure that you map it out first, just in case. Make sure that when you're inserting on your machine that the warning label is up and that this part, which is on both of them, this piece is at the front, pointing towards you as you're putting it on the machine. A couple of other things, don't be so worried about it. I have gotten my fingers a couple times just practicing. You will get better at it, so please don't stress yourself out that you're like, the first time you try them, it doesn't go perfectly, because it takes a little bit of practice, but you can do it, and I believe in you. So that's it. If you want any other tips or you want to see me actually put it on the machine, let me know down in the comments. I'll make a separate video. And as always, like and subscribe. Check me out for more embroidery videos. I'm sure I'll do more embroidery videos if people like them. But I will just keep making, and that's exactly what this channel is for. So, as always, happy making.